They traded cameras for colleagues, scripts for sermons, and film sets for boardrooms. Here are Nollywood actors who quit acting and where they are now. Starting off on the list is Camila Mberekpe. If you grew up on Nollywood classics, then you definitely remember Camila Mberekpe, the woman who made every child clutch their mother's wrapper whenever she appeared on screen. She wasn't just acting, she was the face of fear itself. Whether as the heartless mother-in-law or the terrifying witch, Camila made sure your nightmares had a name. But life has its plot twists. In 2013, the headlines went wild when the same woman who terrified us on screen was spotted at TB Joshua's Synagogue Church of All Nations seeking deliverance from demonic spirits. It was like Nollywood had come alive in real life and fans couldn't stop talking. Today, the veteran actress has traded movie sets for the pulpit. Instead of playing the destroyer of destinies on screen, she now builds lives as a full-time pastor in Lagos. Next is Genevieve Nnaji. Genevieve Nnaji isn't just a Nollywood star, she's the blueprint. For years, she ruled our screens with her flawless portrayals of the heartbroken lover, the fierce sister, and the ambitious woman who refused to be boxed in. Audiences didn't just watch her movies, they lived them, and critics showered her with awards like confetti at a wedding. But Genevieve didn't stop at acting. No, she pulled a power move and stepped behind the camera, proving she wasn't just a face, but a force. Her groundbreaking film Lionheart didn't just hit Netflix, it made history as the very first Nigerian Netflix original, raking in a jaw-dropping 3.8 billion naira. Talk about securing the bag while making culture proud. Off-screen, she's every bit the icon, gracing Instagram with peeks into her luxury lifestyle and occasionally popping up at events to remind us that ageless beauty isn't just a phrase, it's Genevieve in human form. Beyond the glam, she's also a fierce advocate for women and the girl child, balancing style with substance. Next up is Desmond Elliot. He has always been the Nollywood sweetheart who could make you cry a river or giggle like a teenager in love. From countless heartbreak roles to playing the man hopelessly chasing romance that never quite worked out, he built a career that glued fans to their TV screens. But then, plot twist, he dropped the script, swapped the film set for politics, and marched straight into history by winning a seat in the Lagos State House of Assembly in 2015, representing Surulere. Talk about a blockbuster career change. His journey in politics hasn't been without drama. During the EndSARS protests, Desmond's comments on social media landed him in hot water. Fans dragged him like a Nollywood villain and the memes endless. Eventually, he had to issue a public apology, proving once again that life outside the camera is just as dramatic. Up next is Larry Koldsweat. Larry Koldsweat was that legendary Nollywood elder who could stop a whole village meeting with just one proverb. His calm voice, deep wisdom, and commanding presence made him the kind of king you didn't dare argue with on screen. For years, he ruled our screens as the go-to monarch, dishing out lines that could make you rethink your entire life in the middle of a movie. Then, like every great performer, he took his final bow. Not with scandal, not with noise, but with grace. These days, he's living the soft life, surrounded by loved ones, occasionally stepping out just to remind everyone that a true king never loses his crown. Each appearance is like Nollywood throwing a party for the legend who shaped an era. Larry may have left the constant spotlight, but his legacy shines brighter than ever. Next is Ngozi Ezeonu. Ngozi Ezeonu is the kind of actress who could drench a whole set in tears 1 minute and then light up the screen with laughter the next. Her emotional range made her one of Nollywood's most believable mothers, the type who would fight tooth and nail for her children, whether in poverty-stricken village scenes or lavish city dramas. But these days, Ngozi has traded the chaotic lights and cameras for something a little more peaceful. Rather than chasing scripts, she now chases laughter, serving her fans a buffet of comic relief on TikTok. Yes, the same woman who once broke our hearts on screen is now making us roll on the floor with her skits. She still shows up in films once in a while just to remind us she hasn't lost her magic, but her focus now is on creating hilarious, relatable content that fans can't get enough of. Up next is Tonto Dikeh. Tonto Dikeh is not just a name, she's a whole era of Nollywood drama, glam, and unforgettable performances. For years, the screen diva had fans glued to their seats, whether they were cheering her on or dragging her for playing controversial roles. One thing was clear, love her or hate her, you couldn't ignore her. Instead of fading, Tonto flipped the script, retiring from the movie scene and boldly diving into politics. With her trademark fearless energy, she contested as Deputy Governor of Rivers State under the African Democratic Congress ADC. The ballot didn't swing in her favor, but true to her warrior spirit, she dusted herself off and switched camps to the All Progressives Congress APC. Translation: Tontolet's political journey is just warming up. Up next is Sylvester Madu. Sylvester Madu, better known as Shino Rambo, is that Nollywood star who made gangster roles look so real that you'd almost swear he has a PhD in street life. For years, he carried the bad boy crown in movies, chains on his neck, eyes blazing, and guns blazing louder. His performances were so convincing that during a trip to Cameroon Cameroon, actual gangsters stepped up to audition him in real life just to see if the movie villain could really survive in the jungle. Now, that's method acting taken too far. These days, Madu has flipped the script. The one-time king of crime on screen now rules behind the camera as a producer and director. His YouTube channel is stacked with films, many of which he also stars in, proving that while he may have traded the bullet belt for the director's chair, he hasn't lost his acting firepower. Next up is Rita Edochie. She was that Nollywood sweetheart who turned motherhood into pure movie magic. Whether she was playing the selfless friend or the doting mother, she knew how to steal hearts and command attention without even trying. She had that rare charm that made you want to call her your neighbor, your auntie, and your bestie all at once. But Rita wasn't just about dazzling the screen. She knew how to make a dramatic exit worthy of a blockbuster. After years of gracing Nollywood with unforgettable roles, she decided to hit pause and flip the script on her life. In true star fashion, she relocated to the United States, exchanged movie sets for family time, and embraced the beauty of being a full-time wife and mother. She even switched to spotlight for a quieter job, proving that real queens don't retire, they simply evolve. Dede is next on the list. He's the kind of actor who didn't just act on screen, he owned it. The man who gave us the legendary role of Ebube in the 2000 Nollywood classic Isakaba wasn't just another actor, he was the thunder and lightning of every scene. But just when fans thought he'd keep dominating their scenes forever, he switched gears, appointed as the Director General of Rivers State Tourism Development. He traded scripts for strategies and took Nollywood's magic into the tourism sector. And because one crown wasn't enough, he also stepped into academia, lecturing at the University of Port Harcourt's Theatre Arts Department. There, he now trains the next wave of Nollywood stars, teaching them the same craft that made him a legend. Next is Francis Duru. Francis Duru was never just an actor, he was a full-blown show. One minute he was cracking ribs with his comic timing, the next he was melting hearts in a romantic role. And before you could blink, he was commanding respect as a chief or king. That's how he won fans across Nigeria and beyond, by being a true chameleon on screen. But here's the twist. While most expected him to stay glued to the camera forever, Francis decided to flip the script. He traded movie sets for lecture halls, becoming a mentor to the next generation of Nollywood stars. These days, you catch him inspiring young actors in classrooms, sharing wisdom at top Nollywood conventions, and yes, still popping up in movies from time to time to remind us he hasn't lost his spark. Next is Ngozi Ezeonu. Ngozi Ezeonu is that screen mother who made Yoruba mother roles look so authentic, you'd swear she was born in Ibadan. Yet, she's proudly Igbo. Her ability to slip into any role with so much fire and finesse made her the ultimate producer's favorite. But life hit her really hard in 2012. The actress fell gravely ill and news broke that it was linked to a kidney condition. Fans held their breath as the bubbly actress faded from the screen. Luckily, with treatment in the UK, our beloved star bounced back, proving you can dim her light but never put it out. Today, Ngozi isn't just acting, she's cashing out ambassadorial checks. With her warm motherly aura, she has become the perfect face for household brands like Maggi Star and Mamador. Up next is Clem Ohameze. Clem Ohameze wasn't just another Nollywood actor, you could call him Kanayo Okanayo's partner in cult on screen. Anytime a script needed a mysterious chief priest or a man with chilling occultic powers, Clem slid into the role so effortlessly that audiences would shiver long after the movie ended. But life had its own twist for the veteran. An old accident came back to haunt him, damaging his cervical vertebrae and affecting his limbs. The once unshakable screen god suddenly had to face a real-life battle that no script could rewrite. With courage, he went under the knife. Thankfully, the surgery was successful. After recovery, Clem made a bold choice: step out of the constant spotlight. He decided to pour his energy into healing, cherishing family time, and exploring other passions. Next is Jennifer Eliogu. Forget ordinary careers. Jennifer Eliogu has lived two superstar lives in one. First, she conquered Nollywood with roles that made audiences laugh, weep, and sometimes even argue in their living rooms. Cast her as the fiery, jealous lover, and she owned the screen. Hand her the role of a tender mother, and suddenly everyone felt her pain like it was their own. But Jennifer's story didn't end with acting. Controversies tried to dim her shine, yet she flipped the script and reinvented herself as a singer with a voice that hit straight to the soul. Her hit single Infunaya didn't just warm hearts, it grabbed the nomination for Best R&B Video at the Nigeria Music Video Awards. Proof that this star shines in stereo. Today, she handles both worlds effortlessly. Every now and then, Nollywood gets blessed with her presence, while the music scene continues to enjoy her melodies. Next up is Rita Dominic. Rita Dominic was that screen goddess who owned the 90s like it was a personal runway. Back then, she wasn't just acting, she was serving. The slay queen of Nollywood Nollywood knew how to stop a politician's heartbeat with just one glance, and trust me, those tough men would move mountains just to win her love on screen. But hold on, Rita didn't stop there. Cast her as a grieving wife, she'd make the entire cinema hall reach out for tissues. No wonder she racked up awards like it was a weekend shopping spree. Then, just when fans thought she'd stay forever glued to the spotlight, Rita switched gears. She stepped behind the camera, building Rita Dominic Productions, proving she's not just a pretty face, but also a powerhouse producer and director. Of course, she still sneaks back onto our screens occasionally, just to remind everyone that true queens never retire, they simply reinvent themselves. Next up is Link Edochie. Link Edochie isn't just Pete Edochie's son. He's a man who carved his own lane in Nollywood with style, flair, and a sprinkle of dramatic magic. On screen, he could flip from a jealous brother plotting in the shadows to a dashing millionaire heir living the sweet life, and every time he made it look effortless. Fans loved him for that versatility, that ability to make us hate him in one movie and cheer for him in the next. But Link didn't stop at acting. He packed his creative bag and marched boldly behind the camera, proving that storytelling wasn't just a family gift, it was in his DNA. Today, he's a powerhouse director and producer, serving Nollywood audiences with movies that get people talking. And just when you think he's done, he pops back on screen with a surprise appearance, keeping fans on their toes. Alright guys, if you've enjoyed the video to this point, do well to leave a thumbs up as we dive even deeper to the rest of the video. Up next on the list is Patience Ozokwor. Patience Ozokwor is not just an actress, she's a whole cultural experience. The legendary star, fondly called Mama G, made Nollywood fans clutch their pillows at night with her wicked mother-in-law roles. From poisoning daughters-in-law with side eyes to plotting the most outrageous movie schemes, she became the queen of village villainy. Yet in real life, Patience is the exact opposite. Warm, gentle, and deeply spiritual. Her talent has earned her truckloads of awards, including the prestigious AMVCA. But just as fans thought Mama G would keep terrorizing our screens forever, she surprised the world by swapping movie scripts for the Holy Book. In a heartfelt interview, she revealed that God had called her into evangelism. Today, she's less about casting spells in movies and more about casting out souls for the kingdom. Still, every once in a while, she blesses Nollywood with her spicy presence, though not as fierce as the fire-breathing Mama G we all grew up watching. Next up is Charles Aworum. Charles Aworum is that one man who could turn a dull living room into a full-blown comedy club. The moment he steps on screen, you already know your ribs are about to suffer. His secret weapon, that epic combo of exaggerated facial expressions and his lazy man acting style that somehow feels so natural. He leaves you wondering if he was born funny. Over the years, Charles didn't just stay locked in front of the camera, he leveled up into producing and directing, showing the world that the funny bone in him runs deeper than we imagined. And guess what? Even as a producer, he still can't resist grabbing those hilarious roles, keeping his audience hooked and rolling with laughter. His YouTube channel is basically a laughter bank, a treasure chest of comedy that proves Charles Aworum is not just a Nollywood actor, he's a walking, talking, never-ending comedy machine. Next up is Benita Nzeribe. Benita Nzeribe wasn't just an actress, she was a whole experience on screen. Whether she was playing the hopeless romantic, the fiery friend who had your back no matter what, or the diva who owned every scene, Benita knew how to keep audiences glued. Her performances were so magnetic that awards and recognitions practically chased her down. But here's where it gets even juicier. Benita didn't stop at Nollywood fame. She took her star power and marched straight into politics, entrepreneurships, and global influence. Today, she proudly carries the titles of Air Safety Ambassador of Nigeria and UN Peace Ambassador. And because she's never been one to settle, she also runs Bands Global Concept Limited. Proof that her hustle is louder than any red carpet applause. From movie lights to boardrooms and diplomatic stages, Benita has shown the world that her script is far from over. It just keeps getting bigger, brighter, and bolder. Next up is Nkem Owoh. Popularly known as Osofia, he is the man who turned laughter into a full-time career and made chaos look classy. From stubborn trickster to sharp-tongued busybody, Osofia mastered the art of playing the kind of character everyone knows is real life, but only he can make so irresistibly funny. Decades down the line, the legend still stands tall, an actor whose name alone can pull a crowd and whose face is stamped permanently in Nollywood history. Upcoming actors look up to him as a blueprint, while fans across Nigeria continue to celebrate him as the ultimate king of comic relief. These days, he's living the dream, basking in the glory of his years of consistency, popping up at high-end events as a special guest, and enjoying the well-deserved reward of making an entire nation laugh. Next up is Daniella Okeke. Daniella Okeke didn't just act in Nollywood, she owned the screen. The sultry actress became the face of jealous lovers, the fiery, ambitious daughter, and the woman who would climb over anyone to get what she wanted. Audiences couldn't get enough of her, but then drama entered the chat. Her name started flying around in controversial sagas that had social media buzzing hotter than Lagos traffic at rush hour. Instead of drowning in the chaos, Daniella made a boss move. She pressed pause on Nollywood and leveled up her lifestyle. Now, she's living the dream most only double tap on Instagram. Think exotic vacations to the Maldives, champagne breakfast in Paris, luxury cars purring in her garage, and skyscraper investments with her name on the deed. Nollywood gave her fame, but entrepreneurship crowned her queen. Ranking at number 10 is Dolly Unachukwu. Dolly Unachukwu's story is the perfect Nollywood movie plot all by itself. 1 minute, she's dazzling screens in the unforgettable Glamour Girls. The next, she's cementing her name as one of the queens of old school Nollywood. Her face, her flair, her fire, everything about Dolly screamed superstar, and the industry ate it up. She didn't just act, she owned every role like it was tailored for her. Then came a plot twist straight out of a Sunday sermon. After lighting up countless films, Dolly found love again. Her third marriage, this time to a pastor, and swapped the flashing cameras of Nollywood for pulpit lights abroad. But don't think she faded into the background. Oh no, Dolly reinvented herself. Today, she's living abroad, raising her 2 kids from her previous marriage, and balancing motherhood with ministerial duties like the boss queen she is. And number 9 is Nonso Diobi, the man who once ruled Nollywood's screen with his irresistible lover boy charm, suddenly pulled a Houdini act and vanished. Fans were left scratching their heads, wondering what happened to the king of on-screen romance. Turns out, Nonso wasn't hiding, he was upgrading. In a candid revelation, the actor confessed that he deliberately stepped away from the spotlight to sharpen his skills and master the art of filmmaking. And oh, he didn't just stop at acting classes, he went full throttle into becoming a producer and director, now calling the shots behind the camera. But that's not all. Away from the lights, Nonso Diobi also spread his wings into business, diving into the world of real estate investments like a true boss. So the once screen Prince Charming is now a certified filmmaker and savvy entrepreneur, proving that legends don't fade, they evolve. Number 8 is Jerry Williams. Jerry Williams wasn't just an actor, he was Nollywood's certified bad boy. The kind of screen rebel fans loved to hate but couldn't stop watching. With his piercing looks and dangerous charm, he had audiences glued. But behind the scenes, life wasn't all movie scripts and camera lights. Jerry took a dangerous detour into the world of hard drugs, and just like that, his promising career screeched to a halt. The Actors Guild of Nigeria had no choice but to swing the hammer ban. Suddenly, Nollywood's favorite rascal was off the screen, not because of lack of talent, but because his off-screen battles were louder than his movie lines. Aggression, hostility, chaos, you name it. Now his story is one of constant back and forth trips to rehab where he's receiving intense care. Up next at number 7 is Zack Orji. Zack Orji has always been the man who could keep us glued to the screen, whether he was playing that creepy occult partner with a sly grin or the unstoppable uncle who would bulldoze through anything to get his way. For years, his name rang loud across Nollywood, his acting a masterclass in charisma and intensity. Then came a plot twist no script could have predicted. He was diagnosed with a blood clot in the brain. Doctors wheeled him in for not 1 but 2 brain surgeries. Talk about a real-life cliffhanger. Against all odds, Zack fought back. Today, he's not just a Nollywood legend, but also a fiery evangelist spreading hope and faith while still sprinkling his magic on the screen every now and then. Number 6 is Charles Okafor. Charles Okafor isn't just another Nollywood face you forget after the credits roll. He's the man who made you laugh until your ribs begged for mercy. For years, he owned the screen with performances that had fans quoting his lines like national anthems. Awards, he stacked them like souvenirs. Then, just as everyone thought he would keep dazzling in movies forever, he pulled a classic Charles move. He stepped away from the spotlight. But here's the twist. He didn't disappear quietly. He popped up with a YouTube channel like a boss, showcasing films he personally produced and directed. And let's just say, the man still got the magic touch. Whenever he graces his production, that signature humor and charisma comes alive all over again. And number 5 is Jerry Amilo. Jerry Amilo is one of those Nollywood faces you couldn't forget in a hurry. For years, he lit up the screens as the hot-headed gangster everyone feared, or the desperate hustler diving into money rituals just to make ends meet. His deep voice, sharp glare, and larger-than-life presence made him the go-to villain in the 90s and early 2000s. But here's the plot twist. Jerry didn't just disappear into thin air after leaving the spotlight, he upgraded his script. These days, he's not chasing blood money or terrorizing movie villages. He's cashing out real hard in the real estate game. With properties spread across the country, Jerry has turned his on-screen energy into boardroom power. And let's just say, his vacations look like movie scenes of their own. Luxury trips, expensive resorts, first-class flights. The man who once scared us in films is now living like a king in real life. Number 4 on the list is Emeka Ike. Emeka Ike wasn't wasn't just an actor, he was a whole mood board for romance. The man had ladies side-eyeing their boyfriends after every movie, wondering why their own Mr. Right didn't look, talk, or fight for their love like Emeka did on screen. His performances came with that fiery intensity, the kind that made every love story feel like the last chapter of a fairy tale. But Emeka didn't stop at breaking hearts on set. He pulled a classic plot twist and took a break from acting, only to level up even bigger. Today, he's the proud owner of Nollywood TV on StarTimes, giving fans endless reasons to keep their remotes glued. And just when you thought he was done, Emeka went full politician mode, adding public service to his portfolio. In his words, more iconic brands are still on the way. Clearly, Emeka Ike is not just a Nollywood lover boy, he's a one-man empire in the making. And number 3 is Victor Osuagwu. Victor Osuagwu is that legendary Nollywood face you just can't forget. The man who made audiences laugh so hard they nearly fell off their chairs. Every role he touched turned into a comedy goldmine, and his exaggerated expressions alone could keep a whole cinema hall in stitches. Back then, producers knew the magic formula: cast Osuagwu and watch the crowd roll with laughter. These days, the actor has smoothly traded movie sets for live stages, and honestly, he's still killing it. Now a fully fledged stand-up comedian and MC, Osuagwu brings the same rib-cracking humor that once dominated our screens to weddings, corporate events, and high-profile shows. Guests know the party doesn't officially start until he takes the mic. His timing impeccable, his delivery unmatched. Number 2 is Monalisa Chinda. The dazzling Nollywood Snow White wasn't just an actress, she was a full-blown experience. On screen, she could switch from a fearless queen plotting kingdom strategy with her king to a tear-soaked widow abandoned by her in-laws, and still leave viewers glued to their screens. Her performances were a cocktail of fire, grace, and unforgettable emotion, which quickly won her a devoted fan base. But Monalisa wasn't one to stay trapped in the camera lights forever. Just as fans were still catching their breath from her roles, she decided to step out of the spotlight and pour her energy into motherhood and entrepreneurship. These days, she pops back onto TV with a new kind of fire, not in movies, but on talk shows where she tackles weighty issues affecting women and young girls. Finally, last on the list at number 1 is Eucharia Anunobi. Eucharia Anunobi is the kind of star who doesn't just light up the screen, she sets it on fire. Her ability to slip into any role with unmatched grace and sprinkle it with her natural charisma made her a Nollywood treasure long before most realized how deep her talent ran. But just as fans were getting used to her unstoppable streak in entertainment, life served her a new script. In 2011, the actress flipped the page of her story and dedicated her life to Christ. By 2012, she wasn't just preaching in church pews, she was officially ordained as a minister. That wasn't the end of her transformation. In 2017, tragedy struck her. Her only son passed away from sickle cell anemia, a moment that could have broken anyone. Instead, it turned her into a fearless advocate for children battling the same condition. Now, Eucharia stands tall as both minister and mentor, a woman of fire, faith, and resilience. And yes, she still graces our screens occasionally, but only in roles that match her new divine calling. Talk about a comeback story with heavily plot twist. Alright guys, we've come to the end of the video. Tell us in the comment section which Nollywood legend we missed out on this list, and I'll see you in the next video on your screen.